You've probably heard one of these popular talking points. Straighten your arms at the top of the swing. Don't T-Rex it. Keep your lats tight. Now there is some truth to this, but I feel like we're missing the most important point. Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebe here. Before we get started, I have a gift for you. A free 30-day kettlebell workout challenge. You'll find it in the first link in the description. So let's check out first the biomechanics of the kettlebell swing. Before we jump into the technical aspects of it, I want to demonstrate the exercise. Shoulder width stance, hinge, grab the weight with both hands. Now, hip thrust the weight upwards. The swing mimics a vertical jump like this and not a leap forward. So the idea is not to swing the kettlebell forward, but to swing it upwards.
When you're learning a hard style swing, you're taught to swing the bell or project the bell forward. It's all about forward force. So that was one of the things I wanted to look at. How much forward force is there?
And how much is there?
That's not much. The complete opposite of what I thought. So for me, for example, compared to the vertical force, so if you compare vertical force with horizontal forward force, with a 68 kilo bell, 20%. With an 8 kilo bell, 16 kilo bell, somewhere around 10%. It was so much smaller than I thought.
The rest is vertical force.
Yes.
So the main focus is in the hips, and we want to use our strongest muscles, hamstrings, glutes, lower back, in unity to hip thrust the weight upwards. When you fully extend the hips, boom, stabbing the feet into the floor, knees are locked, hips pushed forward, you don't have to extend your back. You can actually let it in a fairly relaxed, loose state, especially up here in the T-spine, because the focus is down here and not up here. We understand that we can keep our arms relaxed as we hip thrust the weight upwards, because this leads to the fact that the kettlebell sits closer to your body and therefore closer to your center of mass. This makes the exercise more efficient, we can get more work done, and we can focus on the most important muscles. Now you might be thinking, yes, I understand this, but what about the lats tight cue? Well, your lats are attached to your upper arm and not to your forearm. So as you depress the shoulder blades when the kettlebell reaches its apex, you can still keep your forearms fairly loose. And another point that we are obviously missing is lats need to be kept tight, most importantly in the backswing. Because if I don't keep my lats tight or my arms loose, then I achieve this low swing. So instead of looking like this, the kettlebell drops down low because I do not keep my arms tight to my body. So what happens then if I fully extend my arms at the top of the swing? I am engaging into arm dominant behavior. I'm telling my body with this full extension of my arms that it makes sense to use the tension that I've built up in my arms, especially up in my shoulders, to lift the weight up. So instead of using my hips, I am now starting to focus on my arms. Another thing that happens is you change the orbit of the swing if you extend your arms outwards. The orbit is a fancy word for the arc or the circle that you are drawing in the swing motion. So the further my arms are away from my center of mass, the bigger the circle and the more effort I have to engage in. Now you might be saying, yes, I want to create more effort. Okay, but not if it's unnecessary. You see, when you're moving weights, we want to follow an efficient bar path, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more later in the video. So if my goal is to create more effort, I could also say, you know what, instead of doing a deadlift right between my legs, where I keep it right aligned between my feet, staying as close to my center of mass, I can say, you know what, I start deadlifting like this, because here I'm creating more effort, and you might be saying, yes, but it doesn't really make sense and it's unnecessary. This becomes especially important when you move up to swinging very heavy weights, like in this example where I'm swinging a 64 kg kettlebell. Now this unnecessary effort translates into the fact that Dr. Stuart McGill is sharing about the swing. He says, when the kettlebell drops into the backswing, shear forces are at its peak. Shear forces are these kind of forces that pull your spine apart. so to speak. With fully extended arms, you increase the kinetic energy because you're drawing a bigger circle, which might increase already existing shear forces down here in the backswing. Now, I've also had the chance to talk to a physicist about kinetic energy, and he said the following: a physical system always strives to be in the state with the lowest energy. One could also say the most probable state. And even when it comes to moving weights, the same principles apply. Weightlifters, for example, need to follow the most efficient bar path to move the heaviest weights possible. So can you actually T-Rex a kettlebell? Yes, if you keep your elbows glued to your body like in a triceps extension. However, my brother Funk Roberts, he intentionally swings like this because of an issue with his lower back. So in the end, it's a matter of preference. As long as you focus on hip extension, generate enough power from your legs, stab your feet into the floor, don't swing the bell with your arms, you're good. Here's the next thing that you have to do. Like the video, consider subscribing, share it with a friend, and if you made it this far, consider joining the House of Stark and become a Lebe Stark member. Exclusive content, exclusive workouts, exclusive courses, access to the full library, access to our Facebook group. It's just awesome. The perfect kettlebell membership that you have been looking for. Check it out right here.